Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Ink Studios. I'm your host, Ink, and today's Sketchbook Storytime, I'm going to be talking about some of my school experiences. This isn't like one long story about anything in particular. I'm just going to be, telling some stories not just about my own school experience, but experiences that I've had at other schools, I guess. Okay, so let's start at the very, very beginning in pre-K, or rather kindergarten, because I don't think I have any good pre-K stories. So, kindergarten, you guys need to be aware of a fun, awkward fact, if you are not already. My boyfriend, Jude, was married to my kindergarten teacher. Yeah. So, during the time that I was in kindergarten, my teacher was married to the guy who would later be my significant other. How weird is that? So, when I was really, really young, before my mom lost custody of me, she volunteered at the school district so that she could keep an eye on me, I guess, because I was her firstborn and she needed to make sure that, little me didn't die or something. So, and my mom did not like my kindergarten teacher at all. Apparently all the kids who came out of her class and went into first grade were really far behind because they weren't taught any of the things that they needed to be taught or whatever, but that is not where this story is going either. This is a really quick story about a kid who tried to steal my Legos. I don't personally remember this story, but it's been talked about throughout my life and then was reconfirmed in a very strange way much, much later. So apparently, some girl tried to steal my Legos, and I thought that the appropriate response would be to bite her. Which I did. Which would later come back to haunt me in high school when I had to transfer from my, high-end rich neighborhood high school, moving in with my mom to an inner-city high school, where this girl tried to make my life a living hell because that girl's a vampire. She bit me when we were in kindergarten together. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We were 4. Yeah, so when I first transferred from rich bitch high school to inner city slummy kind of high school, at first it wasn't terrible. It was not my cup of tea. And the very first day that I was at that school, I watched a girl hit another girl in the face with a locker combination, and there was blood everywhere. Blood on the floor, blood on the walls, blood on the teachers who were trying to pull them apart. And I just remember standing there oh dear Lord, we are not in Kansas anymore. I am no longer the biggest fish in the pond. I don't want to be here. Because at my previous rich bitch school, I was the toughest person there, and literally everyone was afraid of me. And then going to this school, I was just like a minnow who was about to get eaten alive by all of these inner city kids. But, after a little bit, I had, made some acquaintances. I had a couple of people who were super into my art, and I felt like, I might be able to survive. And then this bitch is like, you bit me when we were 4. I'm gonna make everybody hate you. And she did. So yeah, don't bite people in kindergarten, because it might come back to haunt you. So, that's my kindergarten story. There really isn't a whole lot of interesting stuff that happened in, little school before. When I started in the inner city school, I got transferred to rich bitch territory when my dad got custody of me in 2nd grade. So, I guess the only other, pre-custody exchange stories that I would have would be the day that my dad got custody. I was in school, and it must have been a teacher or something, maybe my mom came too, I don't remember, who had told me that my dad was here to pick me up and bring me to my new home. And I, being, a child, thought, well, if I hide in the girls' bathroom, he can't go in there, so he'll never be able to get me out. And I tried that, and it didn't work. So that's not much of a story, but that's something that I distinctly remember about being in second grade was I tried to hide in the girls' bathroom so that my dad couldn't take me away, and it did not work. Sadly. When I got transferred to my new school, it was super scary. I mean, I was living in a home that wasn't mine, with people that I didn't feel that I really knew that well, going to a school that was totally different from the one that I was used to, away from all of my quote-unquote friends that I had had for years. So it was super overwhelming. I was a kid who already had, like, really bad anxiety issues. But if that wasn't bad enough, I was one of those kids who just could not keep my damn mouth shut. I mean, I suppose I never fully grew out of that. I talk about things that I shouldn't talk about. But when you're a kid, man, kids are freaking rotten. You know, I remember the end of the second grade year, a group of people that I had become comfortable with. It might have been third grade, I don't remember. But I was sitting with a lunch table of people that I was pretty comfortable with. And, you know, kids, who do you like, who do you like, who do you like? And my response was, well, I mean, I kind of like Megan, she's really pretty. And silence, you know, like record scratch silence. Somebody says, ew, and then all of a sudden I have Italian dunker sauce being thrown at my face. And I remember going home crying and being like, why did kids start throwing food at me? And my stepmom casually just brushing it off as, oh, well, you know, she'd asked me, what were you doing? Well, it was obviously your fault somehow. What were you doing? And I just explained, you know, well, everyone was talking about who they had crushes on, and I said that I liked Megan because she was really pretty, and then people started throwing food at me. And she's like, oh, well, a lot of people don't like gay people. And I'm just like, wait, what is gay? What is this thing? What do you mean? And she's like, girls are supposed to like boys. And, like, my whole world just came crashing down, and I'm just like, ew, what? like, boys? Like, I'm supposed to think that they're cute? Ew, boys are gross. Who would like boys? Doesn't everybody like girls? Yeah, so that was my first, like, real world crash experience of, like, thanks everybody for warning me not to tell people that, because all the adults in my life knew, but nobody bothered warning me, like, not to say anything, or, you know, to be careful about how I talk about it. So, yeah, that was my first experience with homophobia, and that was second or third grade. Hoorah! So, yeah, that was second, third grade. I can, just off the top of my head, remember that my second grade class had something called a golden chair for, like, the best behaved students, which I, like, never got, except for on my birthday, because they give it to you on your birthday. And they had something called Cleanie Beanies, which were, whoever had the cleanest desk would get a Beanie Baby in their desk the following day, and you didn't get to keep it or anything, it just got to sit on your desk. And that I used to make paper cat collars for my cats that I would go back and see on the weekends when I got to see my mom. And that was what I did with all of my craft time. So here's an experience that did not happen at my school, but happened at a school when I was really on the younger end of young, you know, like preteen. My mom continued not volunteering for the school, but working for the school as, like, sort of a teacher's assistant, a para is what they called it. She would work one-on-one with troubled students. And this was before the days where she got her first bartending job and everything went downhill. So there was something called Spring Fling. My sister went to the school that she worked at. So my mom and my sister had to go to this Spring Fling event thing. It was like raffle tickets for baskets and dancing and music and food and whatever. But it was an elementary school, you know, so, I mean, I'm sure high schools have that sort of thing, but it's much less edgy because, you know, they're all children. And the only thing that I remember about going was that My sister stuck to me like glue the entire time, which made me sad because, kid, this is your school. You should have friends. What are you doing? And also that my mother made the terrible mistake of introducing me to her very young, very hot, very blonde coworker who was not dressed in school teacher clothes because she wasn't teaching. This was like a dance event or whatever. And my mom introduced us, hey, lady, this is my daughter, Ink. Ink, this is my coworker, so-and-so. And I remember her leaning over and being like, oh my God, honey, you have such beautiful eyes. Or something like that. It was, your eyes are so beautiful, something along those lines. And my response was to look her head to toe and back up and to go, well, you have beautiful everything. And my mom lost her shit. She, literally grabbed me by the back of my shirt and pulled me away. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, wait, what? Thank you? And later my mom was like, you can't do that. She's my coworker. You're going to get me in so much trouble. And I'm like, Mom, she literally would not have had any idea that I was hitting on her if you had not made it so super obvious. Thanks, Mom, for ruining my chance with this adult lady 10-year-old me totally had, Oh, you're so embarrassing, Mom. And my mom's like, oh my God, Ink, you're so embarrassing. So, yeah, that was my experience at the school that my mom worked at. I'm gonna have to go back through my videos and see if I don't know if I did. That might be a story that I have to do for an entire video. I don't know if I ever posted the video about me dealing with my sister's bullies at her winter concert, but I will look back through it. If I haven't, then boy, have I got a very long story for you. However, this round of stories is coming to a wrap, so per our new thing, be sure to check out these awesome artists who have made this awesome fan art. Thank you guys so much. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Questions, comments, suggestions, down in the comments below. If you want to vote on our polls, head over to my DeviantArt account. Yada, yada, yada. And I will see you guys in the next one.